Hello, I'm Toby Fox from 1.5 million new homes, the local government challenge sponsored by Redloft. So the mission is to get 1.5 million new homes built, and the key delivery arm for that mission is local government, either as the planning authority or as a partner in a joint venture with the private sector, or through the direct delivery of new homes. So I'm visiting a different council every month to understand what works and what needs to change for councils to get more homes built. And today I'm in the London Borough of Lambeth. And I'm here with Councillor Danny Adilypour, who is Cabinet Member for Housing, Investment and New Homes at the London Borough of Lambeth. Councillor Danny, where are we?
So we're here in the courtyard at Lambeth Town Hall, where you can see both the historic parts of the building and the newer developments we've had added on recently. And really it's here that I work when I'm at Lambeth, making sure we prioritise getting our new homes built for our residents.
And what are your priorities in that role?
Really, there's two main parts to it. I mean, firstly, it's about making sure we get new homes built, new affordable and social homes as quickly as possible, but also that we're managing our existing homes for residents and making sure they have safe, decent homes to live in.
Okay, and how does that link into a sort of wider vision for the borough?
I mean, our priority is making sure that Lambeth is a borough of equity and justice, and that's really outlined in detail in our Lambeth 2030 borough plan. And a big part of that is about housing, making sure that young people know they're growing up in Lambeth with a decent home, because that ties in with so many other things that matter to their lives as well, and making sure that all our residents know we are prioritising what matters to them, which is making sure they can afford to live in Lambeth in homes that are decent, safe and affordable.
And when with the council, so much of your business is with social care, with adult care or with children's care. It's sort of 60-70% of most councils' business. How important is housing to the overall priorities of the council and to your ability to deliver those services?
Oh, it's an absolute priority, because we have a housing emergency across London at the minute, and in Lambeth our waiting list for council homes is over 30,000, and we have almost 5,000 families in temporary accommodation. So we know that we need to get more homes built and get on with doing it as quickly as possible.
So there's 5,000 families in temporary accommodation. What sort of targets are you setting yourself for building homes to help those people?
Sure, so we've got a new homes programme in Lambeth, which is about how we utilise our own land to the best of our ability. And with that, our target is that by the end of the decade, we'll have delivered at least 500 new affordable and social homes on our own land. And alongside that, it's important that we work alongside our partners, making sure that through the planning system, we're getting developments through on other lands that really prioritise affordable and social homes as well.
And with that level of need in the borough, presumably there's community support for that development, for those new homes to come along. How are you sort of finding the community response to change and development and growth in housing?
Yeah, I mean, most of our residents are aware of the need for new homes in the borough, because we need people to be able to afford to live and work here. We had a really positive response to our housing strategy consultation last year, and I think residents are clear that if they're consulted with and engaged with in a reasonable manner, they are open to having new homes because they need them for their own families and their own children.
There's been a sort of history of estate regeneration in Lambeth of it being difficult to bring forward because residents get confused about what the objectives are, what the level of change is going to be for them, what the disruption is going to be to them, and what they're going to get out of it. Is that something that's changing?
I think we're really clear now that when we're working with partners, we say to them they have to have meaningful engagement with communities, talking about what they expect to see from developments and what's in it for them, frankly, which is things like making sure we have jobs delivered locally for young people, making sure there are clear community benefits from the scheme, and that they are delivering our priorities, which is maximising that level of affordable and social homes that residents expect to see.
And how are you engaging with those people? How are you getting them to feel that that's real?
Really, every opportunity we get. So as I said, with our housing strategy, we made sure it was an open document and consultation with residents about what they wanted to see in it. Yeah. And every time that we engage with residents about our own developments, we make sure we're asking them what they want to see in their neighbourhoods.
Let's dig into that a little bit. So that document and the sort of local plan process as well, these are quite technical things sometimes. How do you make those accessible to people?
It's about explaining what it means to them in real terms and what it means for their lives. So talking about things like what kind of new homes are being delivered, what those job and employment opportunities are going to be, and what benefits there'll be for the community. Also explaining that when we work with developer partners, they pay a levy, a developer tax, and that money will be reinvested in what they want to see in terms of benefits for the local area.
Ooh, how much might that be? What sort of scale of investment might that
really
generate?
Depends on the size of the development,
Yeah.
but you can be talking from thousands to millions of pounds depending on what you're looking at and the level of work being done and the size of what's been provided.
Are there any examples of that actually happening yet? Have you managed to accrue any of that investment yet?
Well, yeah, I mean, over the last few years, we have been using, it was called Section 106 money, and that is the money we get from developers. And really, you can see there's evidence it's used to invest in improving transport and environmental infrastructure in the areas and other things that communities like to see to help make their areas nicer places to live in, frankly.
That's interesting. So have you just renamed Section 106 to make it kind of more attractive, more
I
accessible?
wouldn't say we've renamed it. It's about how we explain it to people.
Yeah,
The simplest
yeah.
way to explain it is essentially a developer tax or a developer levy that, you know, if people want to build here, that's what they contribute to make sure that there's reinvestment in those communities they get in those developments.
Yeah. So I've got a kind of constant series of questions I keep asking about local plans for exactly the same reason. They seem very inaccessible. That it's the main route for local people to be able to shape the future of their place, but it's quite a technical process, quite a technical document. So have you taken the same approach with that? Are there ways of making that a little more easy to get to grasp?
And we'll be looking at our own plan again in the near future as well. And it's really important that when we do it, we have those open workshop sessions and that we're reaching out to every community in Lambeth because, as I said before, our main priority is to be a borough of equity and justice. And that means being representative of all of the communities that live here. So when we're having those consultations on our local plan, we need to make sure that those voices are represented and heard in the feedback we're getting.
Danny, how do you feel about the government's ambition to get 1.5 million new homes built and our ability to actually achieve that target and the weight of responsibility that there is on councils to support and contribute to it?
I think it's really welcome and positive that we have a government that has been very clear that their priority is getting new homes built and delivering growth that actually benefits the people that live in areas. We've seen really positive work done in terms of reforms to planning that'll make it easier and quicker to get homes built, and we're looking to build on that and making sure that in our own planning system we're as efficient as possible in getting those homes built, getting those spades in the ground. So with the government, we're in sync on that agenda at the moment, I'd say.
And how do you feel about the relative strength of the private sector, the RP sector, the public sector in being able to deliver new homes? At the moment, a lot of the new homes are coming from the private sector. We're going to need the public sector to weigh in with thousands and thousands more to hit that sort of target.
Absolutely. I mean, it's no secret that local government faces really challenging financial times at the minute. When we can, we prioritise delivering directly ourselves and getting new homes built, but we absolutely recognise that we need to work with partners in the private sector to get the number of homes that we need in Lambeth. So those sort of relationships with developers and with housing associations are going to be really important. And our message is that we're open for business as long as you meet our political objectives in terms of tackling the housing crisis, tackling the climate crisis, and prioritising and maximising affordable and social housing. We're here to work with you and we look forward to doing so.
So you're talking a good game, Danny, but how do you actually make it happen? Because that's a significant change from what's happening now.
Absolutely, and actions speak louder than words. And in Lambeth, we're really clear it's about how many homes we can get built, how many affordable and social homes there are, and getting it done as quickly as possible. In our new homes programme, we really set out that ambition of at least 500 new affordable and social homes on council land by the end of the decade. Just last week, I was at Patmos Lodge, which is our latest development of new council homes in Lambeth. We have built the first council homes in a generation, and we're looking to build even more. Over the next year, we'll be looking at places such as Roman Rise and also Phoenix South, where both by ourselves and with partners, we are prioritising getting those new affordable and social homes built.
And can I talk a little bit about the mechanisms to get those homes built? Because you've had a housing company, a separate arm's length company to do it. You've also done it in-house. What are the relative strengths and merits of those approaches?
Absolutely. We did a review a couple of years ago that looked at how we could speed up our delivery of new affordable homes. And the answer to that was very clear, that it was time to bring that function back in-house. And we've got an in-house delivery team now that looks at the sites we have, both as a borough, but also sites that we don't own, where we can want to see development coming forwards. And it's that combination of maximising our own land and also encouraging developer partners who meet our objectives to come forward with proposals to make sure that across Lambeth, whether it's on council land or other land, we're getting those homes built wherever possible, and we're seeing a good number of affordable and social homes being delivered there.
And what are the main blockers to you in that ambition to ramp up your delivery?
I think finances have been a challenge over the last few years, as well as Brexit itself, followed by inflation challenges, the war in Ukraine and the impacts on construction costs. It has slowed down the market. Yeah. We are starting to see it speed up again now, and we're making sure that we're clear to developers. We want to talk and have those conversations and encourage them to come forward with those ideas, because we need to see things speeding up again now. And there are encouraging signs there. We need to build on that though and make sure that wherever possible, we're having those conversations and be clear about where we can deliver those new homes for our residents.
What would you like developers to be bringing to the table? Are you happy with the offer from the private sector?
I mean, I always say to developers, let's have the conversation, but we have red lines, and our red lines are about tackling that housing emergency in a way that benefits our residents and making sure we tackle the climate emergency at the same time, because both go together. So it's about having sustainable developments that meet our environmental obligations and also maximising that number of affordable and social homes. We recognise that developers have their viability challenges, so we say have that open, frank discussion with us, and as long as we're clear that we are maximising the opportunity there, we can work with you, both in terms of the private developers and housing association partners, to make sure we're getting a mix of tenure and the mix of homes we need to see for our residents.
Do you find there's conflict between your ambitions and developer ambitions, or do you find that you're very aligned these days? How do you manage those dynamics?
It's about recognising that there are different priorities and making sure that they're not clashing with each other and that we're all getting what we need to. We recognise that developers are there to make a profit out of the developments they bring forwards. We're comfortable with that as long as those developments meet our objectives. So if we have that conversation and they say what they need from us, we'll be very clear about what we need from them, which is that maximum number of affordable and social homes. So if we have that honest conversation, I think we can achieve both what private developer partners and we as a council want to get out of these developments.
So that wraps up another episode of 1.5 million new homes, the local government challenge, sponsored by Redloft. We're going to be back in a few days with more from Lambeth, but until then, if you like what we're doing, please click like or subscribe to let us know. Thanks very much for watching. See you next time.